Record. All righty. Happy Tuesday to everyone. We're going to be getting into prospecting. We got the professor from Los Angeles here, and we're going to get into how to build that book of business. So we got the first couple interviews where we address the resume, how you can clean that up, how you can interview, you get hired. Last one, we had Charlie, one of our rock star students. He got in here. He's been training for 6 weeks here. He has 9 clients. So how do you prospect? So those are some things that we're going to talk about. So Jared, how about you start us off, and then we'll get into some of the best techniques, and we'll go over some scenarios. I'll show us an example of someone working out, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, happy Tuesday, everyone. Yeah, so basically, kind of get into prospecting one-on-one. Obviously this is the part of the job that not many trainers enjoy, especially when you first start at a corporate gym. Obviously you're kind of new, kind of probably a little intimidated, not intimidated, maybe just kind of uncomfortable. So number one thing about this is a couple of things you got to realize. Number one is, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to put yourself out there. The more opportunities and the face-to-face communication that you have with these clientele that's walking through the door every day, you kind of build, a rapport with some of these people. The more rapport you can build with them, obviously they kind of let their guard down. They'll start to talk to you a little bit more. And then, kind of gradually ease your way into asking them if they want to set up an assessment with you or go through a workout with you or see if you can teach them something, that type of thing. Obviously it's, like I said, going back to it, it's definitely uncomfortable at first, especially being a newer trainer. The other thing comes down to, though, is you just got to realize that the only thing that they can do is say no. You're going to hear no a million times, over and over again. So, the biggest thing you got to get realized is you got to realize that it's going to happen. And just know that you got to let it roll off your shoulders and keep going. Because that no just means not right now. Just make sure you always remember that, if I can teach you anything. But yeah, so we normally kind of how it starts is you kind of sit down with your fitness manager or, whoever your boss is. You'll sit down and you kind of take a look at, how many hours a week you're going to get per week to kind of schedule out. And then what I always like to do with my training staff is make sure that I set them up for success. So kind of looking at what time of day is busier, best times, what time, and obviously how many days a week we're going to divide these hours out. So if you're doing 6 days a week, we got to figure out how we're dividing those hours out evenly so you can spend some time on the weekend, because I always look at the weekend a little bit better, because I feel like a lot of people are their guards down. They're not working, usually. So what happens is they're usually kind of out spending money on the weekend. So I always look at like Saturday or Sunday as one of those things. If I get an assessment on a Saturday or Sunday, I'm usually pretty excited about it, because of the fact that most people are, looking to spend money when they're on the weekends, either going out to eat or going shopping or whatever they are throughout the day. They've had a long week at work. They just kind of want to relax. They, want to have some fun and kind of treat themselves for a hard week of work. So that's one thing that I always, thought was very interesting, is if you actually look at how many people show up for an assessment on like a Saturday or Sunday, they usually walk in the door, you do your job, you're usually going to close them. So just a little tip there for you. I don't know, Chris, you want me to just kind of take over? You want to go through some questions?
I think that's just to kind of give them an idea. So like what you said earlier about we think of training as if you're going to become a lawyer, what do? You read your text, you pass the bar, you start practicing what you're doing, and there's certain expectations. And so when you become a trainer, most trainers are unaware of how you get clients. They think they're just handed to you. And so when you find out that you need to go out there and get them, most people piss their pants and they're thinking, oh my God, I'm not a salesman, I can't do this. They don't realize that, like you said, no is just not right now. And so you need to go out there and establish yourself as the mayor on the floor. And how are you going to get clients? You're starting out with 25 hours where you get minimum wage and you have 0 clients. Your goal, and the manager's goal, is to get you from 0 floor hours to 10, 15, 20 clients, and you're training 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, whatever it is. Because that's how you're going to make more and everyone's going to be happy. So then the elephant in the room is, how do you get those clients? So it really depends on the manager that you have. They could set you up in a great situation, but I think as you understand, there's better days. You need to analyze the flow of the gym. And if there's a lot of trainers at certain times, maybe either A, do something different, or B, find times where there's not as many people there so that you really stick out. I see a lot of trainers, and we'll talk about some best techniques and if it's good to do this or not to do this, but how did it work at Crunch with working out at the gym? Could I work out there if I'm a trainer, or did I have certain hours that were blacked out?
It just depends on the time of the year. So like during New Year's, they kind of put they would actually block out like prime time hours. So trainers actually weren't able to work out during those times, just because they felt like the gym was going to be pretty crowded at that time. And obviously you want, the members to have a great experience. So not having, those extra trainers working out, different things like that. So we did have blackout hours, but that was just mainly, the first couple months. And then it kind of went away.
So I think you just got to be creative here. So maybe you have, let's just make it easy and say you have 3 days, we're doing 5-hour shifts. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they give it to you on Monday at AM, Wednesday PM, and Friday midday. So you need to be at the gym all the time outside of that. So if your shift is at 8 o'clock on Monday AM, get there at 5 AM and work out and observe who's there, people, and take mental notes and take actual notes as well. And then Tuesday, you don't have a floor shift, but you need to work out in the morning. You need to train one of the salespeople or an aerobics instructor, teacher, or whoever. You need to go take classes later on Tuesday. You need to be at the gym all the time. So just because they're giving you 15 to 25 hours, it's just paid time. You're not getting paid the other time, but the more you're there, the better position you're going to put yourself in, because you got to think about what the clients see. And the average person, I've been to the gym for, lifetime in La Jolla. I've been there for, say, 2 months now. And I've had 2 trainers, I think they have close to 30, come up and say hi to me. 2. So what they're doing in their mind is they're assuming that I don't need a trainer because I'm in better shape than the average person. Why hasn't there been more conversations? So the average trainer is going to size people up right away. Either A, that person's young, they're not going to buy training, so they're not going to talk to young people. Why not think of it the opposite way? The younger people are the easiest ones to talk to. You go up to a young kid and say, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? What are we working out today? You want to learn how to bench more? You help this kid out. Who's he going to talk to? He's going to talk to mom and dad. He's going to talk to grandpa. He's going to talk to his coach, whoever it is. You've just planted a seed at potentially something that's going to sprout in the future. You're a farmer. You want to grow the best crop possible. It's not going to sprout overnight. If you go in there with the idea that you're going to get all these clients in the first couple days, first couple prospecting hours, whatever, you're going to fail miserably. It's about cultivating relationships with the members there so they trust you, because what they see is the average trainer comes in and attacks. They're going to go up to them and say, have you done your free consultation? Oh, you haven't? Why don't you go through with me? Here's some scary bullshit that I'm going to take you through a hard workout, whatever. I flip them, I turn them and burn them, and then I can't get them results and they leave. And then there's this constant turnover where they're trying to get more clients, but that life is really, really hard. A great trainer can set realistic expectations. You get 1 or 2 clients a month. You get them results. You get referrals. We're going to talk later on about referrals. But it's setting yourself up for realistic expectations in the beginning, and you just need to be there all of the time. Get over it. So in your experience, Jared, what were some of the most successful methods that you saw your trainers doing, whether it would be like table pop-ups or handing out towels, body fat percentage? And let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the number one thing is you kind of touched on it, is just being there. FaceTime, right? So the biggest thing is these members want to get comfortable with you, because a lot of times, like you said, there's going to be a lot of trainers in and out. That's unfortunately, kind of the way the industry is at the moment, or it has been for a long time. So the number one thing they're wondering is, oh, who's the new trainer? How long are they going to last? And if you don't believe me, I've actually had members come up and ask me that question. How long is that trainer going to be here for? You think they're going to make it? Which is like, it's kind of a slap in the face, really. Because if you think, well, I hired them, I'm going to develop them, so yeah, they're going to be here for a while. If I do my job, they should be here for a while. But it's not common. It is very common for people to be, 3 months and be out of the gym and be gone and never train again. because of the fact they don't really get the expectations set for them coming in to the job. You know, I think you'll see the more people that are there all day long, getting back to kind of the point, the people that are going to be there all day long and spend the hours and kind of get to know people and build that rapport with people, they earn their trust because of the fact that they see their FaceTime, that FaceTime is there, and they're in there working, they're doing, you know, everything they need to do. But then you have these trainers that come in and they'll spend, you know, they'll have their shift, and as soon as their shift is up, they'll get there like 5 minutes before their shift, and then as soon as their shift is up, they're gone. You're not going to see them for the rest of the day until the next day. Those are the trainers that usually don't make it. Those are the three people that in 3 months are usually going to fade out because of the fact that, you know, they just aren't putting that extra work in. And then, you know, a lot of times they're going to come to you and say, well, I'm not getting any clients. I'm not going to, and the number one thing I'm going to say is, you're not here. How am I supposed to feed you clients when I can't find you? How am I supposed to give you opportunities if I can't find you? How's my sales team and, you know, membership team, how are they going to give you opportunities if you're never here? If you don't want to spend that time, that's fine. That's on you. But, you know, the number one thing is you've got to be there. You have to be able to make connections with these people, and just, it doesn't even matter if they never train with you even once. It could be one of those things where you are nicest person, you smile, you introduce yourself, and they remember that, and they have a friend looking for a trainer, they're going to recommend them to you because of the fact that you know, were there, you were doing your job, and they want to help people like that because of the fact that you showed them respect, you talked to them, you know, you smiled, you got to know a little bit about them, you built a little rapport with them. And it's happened to me many a times where I've had people come up to me, hey, I got a friend looking for a trainer. I told them about you just because of the fact that, you know, we had a conversation a couple of times and you've always been super nice to me. You know, that's number one. Number two, I think we come into, we look at doing like your pop-up tables. So your body fats, your supplement tables, you know, maybe we even do a challenge, right? I've seen trainers take some of these tables and they come up with a creative challenge. Let's do a plank challenge. Let's do a push-up contest, whatever it is, you know, or let's do just a core, like a 5-minute core blast, right? And these people come in, they get their name, they get their information, they sign them up. And basically what you do is you offer them a reward. Well, the reward is, I'm going to give you a free workout with me, you know, or I'm going to give you, you know, a couple different workouts with me, whatever it is, you know, you kind of be creative. Like Chris said, the number one thing is, how are you going to be different? As we talked on Thursday, you know, we were talking how he got 9 clients in just 6 weeks. Well, I asked him, the number one thing I asked him, how did you differentiate yourself? He said, I went and talked to people face to face. You know, a lot of people don't do that anymore, unfortunately, nowadays. We want to text, we want to shoot an email, we want to do whatever it takes not to have a face-to-face conversation with somebody. And that's fine. Look, it's not a big deal. I think one thing I've always used in the past is if I meet somebody, I go down, I look at their information, I shoot them a quick email. Hey, you know, I just want to reach out, say, nice to meet you today. Please let me know if there's anything that I can actually do for you while you're in the gym. If you have any questions, please come find me. I'd love to help you. You know, just a short little brief email. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just basically welcome them, or, you know, just making sure they know that you're there. And then we go into, like, if we're handing out towels, you know, kind of different ways, maybe grabbing some water for somebody, whatever it is. Just find a way to make sure that you are doing something, going above and beyond for these members, because you'll see when you do that, and you'll see other members looking at you kind of like, oh, wow, this guy's very nice. Like, he's doing all these little things, and that'll attract them to want to, like, get to meet you, get to know you, and hold a conversation. When that happens, then you're more than likely to be able to kind of set up an assessment and go, you know, take them through a workout. And that always leads to an opportunity. So.
Yeah, that's great. One thing I wanted to touch on before we get into a little example here is that there's a lot of techniques. Don't just go off of one person. If the top trainer tells you one thing, the manager tells you one thing, interview 3 or 4 other people, because even the trainer who's the least successful, he could have, or she could have, a unique tip or something that they do that no one else is doing that could get you a couple of clients. It's like, again, I like that farming analogy where you want to plant as many crops as possible, so when they do sprout, you have a nice variety. So maybe you get a client in the morning, maybe you get a client and you meet in the steam room. I've met a lot of clients in the steam room in a non-weird way. It's just, you're there, it's like the guard's down, you can't see anything, so you just start talking to someone. It's referrals. And don't think of it as just prospecting your hours. Think of it as prospecting the whole time you're there. at the gym. So don't just clock out. Go down, and maybe some unconventional methods would be, find out whose birthdays are there and call them on the phone. Hey, this is Chris from Crunch. Just want to wish you happy birthday. Sing them happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha, happy birthday. Something unique like that is what most people won't do. Let your manager know and all the other trainers at any time that someone cannot make one of their 4 shifts, that you'll cover for them. Within an hour, I live right next door. So give me an hour, I can cover for you. I'll take over. I want the opportunity to help. I've known some gyms that will have the managers, the upper management have managers, they require them to do it. So maybe you talk to the manager and say, hey, anytime that you don't want to do this, I'd be more than happy to take up your 4-hour shifts because I want to help you. I want to show that I'm different and I want to stick around. Because the members, as he said, they're going to put you in a category that you're not going to succeed. But if you were to do some unconventional techniques as well, you call members, you find out members who haven't been to the gym in a while, you call them. That's cold calling essentially. I like moderate calling, but most people won't be doing that. And if you keep a book, you find out birthdays, you do your pop-ups. Now let's talk a little bit about what you said. I've always just found it interesting from the bystander's perspective, like handing out towels and stuff. I agree with you about the service side, but I wonder if the members see it as like, oh, that person's like maintenance. So what do you think about that? Like, is that something, like, I will see trainers that will be like meticulous cleaning, which on one hand is like, great, yeah, you're doing something, but on the other hand, I wonder if the clients see it as, is that person maintenance, or I don't know. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think if you got your shirt on and your trainer shirt, that's one thing I would make sure that when you're doing little things like the handing out towels or anything like that, you're always in uniform, because the biggest thing is you want them to know. I think, at the end of the day, most people that have been had a gym membership have probably been approached by a trainer while they were cleaning. So they probably kind of know the routine of, what we do. But I just think, at the end of the day, take ownership of your gym, make sure it's clean, make sure it's organized, make everything, easier for the members there. And I want, you take pride in that. And I think the members see that and they respect that a little bit more. The other thing is too, is, look, when you're out there, making eye contact with people and saying hello. They're going to have their headphones in. They're probably going to look down. They're probably not going to talk to you. That's okay. But, those 1 or 2 that might pull their headphones out, that's an opportunity, for you to have a conversation, earn their trust a little bit. And then, don't even necessarily, you don't have to ask for them to take them through a workout immediately, right? Just get to know something about them. The next time they come in, address them by their first name with a smile on their face. See how far that goes. I promise you it'll go further than you even think. One thing you were talking about, Chris, is like these birthday things. And, there's a list that, and I'm going to use Crunch's terms, but we had a birthday list that we used to give out to trainers. They send out emails basically trying to get them in for an assessment. We have backlog and incomplete reports. So what that means is a backlog is like clients that have sessions that they haven't either started or they haven't completed. Or well, that incomplete is going to be more the sessions they haven't or completed. Maybe their trainer left, maybe whatever. So those are tools that you can use to be able to like shoot emails and get them in to get them back working out with, working with a trainer. And obviously if they have sessions, that's a lot easier to flip somebody than having to do all the prospecting and work, and you're going to get paid better anyways. So those are just little tools that you always want to make sure that you're asking your manager for. Any kind of reports that they might have that have opportunity. So, but yes, I do think, going back to kind of what we were talking about with, handing out towels, different things like that. I think as long as you're in uniform, you carry yourself, with confidence, smile on your face, I think you're fine. I don't think they look at you as maintenance. Now, if you're just doing it and you're, maybe you're working out and picking up, they're going to probably kind of look at you like, what's going on? But if you're there enough and they know you're a trainer there, they're like, wow, this guy's always here. Like, he never leaves. And it's, I wonder how many clients he's got. They kind of start to ask and wonder. They'll start to try to get to know you a little bit. Because a lot of times if people want to go to a gym, they want to go to a gym they feel very comfortable at. And when they don't know anybody, they're kind of in and out. But once they start to get to know somebody, or a couple people in the gym, they're comfortable, they enjoy it more. And that's me personally. If I go to work out, like if I don't know anybody, I'm just going to kind of put my head down and go. But like, if I know some people, like I actually want to be there. Like, I want to stay there and kind of work out, enjoy, take my time, not trying to rush in and out, and I'm just, my guard's down a little bit more. So
that sounds great. Some things popped up in my mind. I will see trainers at Equinox, they have like a little A-frame, and they'll put out there, the plank challenges and stuff. And you could go to the bench press and put it over there, learn how to bench press. And you're actually bench pressing, and then people ask questions about that. You put it from the squat, maybe you have a deadlift, maybe you have hip thrusts, and you just put in big letters, how to hip thrust. 5-minute ab exercise, and you're constantly doing ab exercises. Invest in your clients. So maybe it's you put their name on the board, max bench press, or 5-rep max bench press, or how many push-ups, whatever the contest is. And you have guys, you have girls. Winner gets $25 gift card to Starbucks and also 3 free sessions. So you invest $50, but you get 10, 15 people to enter the contest. You have the tools to at least convert one of those people to be a client. And if one of those people becomes a client, your ROI on that is a few hours of your time and $50 in exchange for a client who just bought $1,000 worth of training. And if you're really great at what you do, you will keep them around. You're going to get them results. You're going to retain them. And then you're going to get referrals. So you got to think bigger and investing to your clients, like the supplement stuff. And maybe it's little devices or whatever it is. You put bands out there and you educate people on stuff that they see. The Theragun's big right now. Maybe that's kind of your background. You give them some activation techniques, whatever it is, whatever tools you have at your availability. I wanted to do a quick little demo, not demo, but screen share. So here's me at Equinox. That's not me lifting, but there's a guy working out, and I thought it would be a great talking point because here's what I feel. I'll go first, and then Jared can piggyback what I think the average trainer would do. So you see a guy over here. He has 115 on the overhead press. His form isn't optimal. He's your typical android, which, he's storing excess adiposity around his gut, which is visceral fat. He has no ass. You can tell he doesn't work in the body. And, his calves aren't that developed. So this is the things that, oh, you're a dick. I can't believe you said that stuff. That's what your mind does as well. You're going to size people up really, really quickly. So the average trainer is going to go over here and say, excuse me, sir, let me show you some exercise that will help with this because your form's real shitty. Obviously, it wouldn't cuss like that, but they're going to approach it as, let me help you. Where I think what a great trainer can do is you gotta play the long game. And when he's done with the set, you walk over and say, hey, how's it going? My name's Chris. What are you working out today? Doing some shoulders. Great, man. You have any questions? I'm a trainer here. Have a great rest of the day. I'm going to remember his name, and I'm going to go and write it down. Next time I see him, I'm going to say, hey, Frank, how's it going? How's your day been? What are we working out today? Doing shoulders. Nice. If you need a spot, let me know. That's my second point of contact. I see him again. I remember his name. If I'm observing, maybe sooner or later one day I'll see Frank and he's kind of going like this. He's rubbing his shoulder. Maybe I see him doing something that, he looks confused. Or maybe just by not being like everyone else, this lures him to ask me some questions. What are you doing today? How long have you been a trainer for? Whatever. And then we'll start engaging. I don't lead with dysfunction. Could you imagine going on a first date and the person across the room, why the fuck did you wear that shirt? The rest of the date, you're going to have this, oh man, I'm super insecure. I don't like this. You're setting very negative long-term expectations where you're doing it completely different. You're leading in a way that you're just being genuine. You're smiling. You remember his name. But I'm not telling him unless he asks, because I would bet that a lot of trainers would go over there, tell him what he's doing wrong. You need to bump the weight down. Oh, you shouldn't be, maybe this person doesn't believe in overhead press. I read a study that you do overhead pressing, it's going to hurt your shoulder. You're definitely going to hurt your shoulder in the future. This is what, blah, blah. We scare people. And now what we did is we just took this guy, an hour to work out, and we wasted 15 minutes of his workout by going over some corrective bullshit. And now he's thinking, what an asshole. This guy just ruined 15 minutes of my workout, and I could give a shit about my form. I don't have pain. How do you know I'm going to be in pain? Versus you just take the human approach, try to establish some type of relationship. If he were to ask for something, I can give it to him, but I'm not going to tell him he's doing something wrong, even if he was going to hurt himself. That's not my responsibility. People will say, oh, I can't believe he's doing that wrong. You got to go tell him. That's a hard conversation to get through because of, I don't know this client's history. I don't know what other trainers have done. So I prefer kind of the indirect route of getting to know them first And then if, I've been, I've talked to him 10, 15 times, and now I've already established a relationship with Frank, and I walked by and I went, oh shit, Frank, no. We gotta do something else on this, because you're not squeezing your glutes enough. Here's a little simple suggestion. Let's get some external rotation in there. Squeeze your glutes. I want you to look at your sternum at the bottom. Let's put our hands straight, our pelvis. We want this to be parallel at all time, and you're opening up. So it tells me that your core isn't engaged, your glutes aren't engaged, and we don't want you to get hurt in the future. I've had a lot of clients that have got some jacked up shoulder problems because either they're pressing too much or they didn't have the proper form. So I'm just looking out for you. Now it's like, oh, my buddy just helped me out, and we had that relationship, and it's not going to be nearly as essentially confrontational as the latter or the former with some type of form correcting. What are your thoughts, Jim?
No, 100% agree. I think, the one thing I always like to use is, hey, if you ever want to go through a workout, let me see if I can teach you something or educate you on something, let me know. That'd be great. I just want to make sure that, if I can help you in any way, that I'm here for you. So I always like to use that one, just because of the fact that, like, I feel like once you approach it with education, or let me teach you a different workout or whatever it is, like, they go back to letting their guard down a little bit more. And, it's obviously, people always want to learn something, especially because of the fact that a lot of these people go in and do the same thing over and over and over again. So they get bored. That's why a lot of people leave, or they fall off. It's one of those things where if we're educated and we're changing our workouts up, we're changing, no matter how we're doing that, people are going to stay there because of the fact that they don't get us bored. They're continuing to see results. That's really why we're all there. And I feel like educating somebody, they get excited about that. So that's one thing I always like to use. I don't really like to, one thing I'll tell you, never use the word free. Because the way people, when it comes to sales and mindsets, when it comes to this, people think when you use the word free, they kind of look at it like, oh, well, what do they want from me? What am I going to have to give them for me to get this? So complimentary, anything like that is a word that I like to use a lot. Is, hey, I like to bring you through a complimentary workout, or assessment, just to kind of get to know you a little bit, see if I can educate you on something, and then answer any questions you have. We can spend a full hour together completely on me. I always like that, just because it kind of lets a guard down. Complimentary, more people are usually more relaxed about it. And they're like, oh, well, he's not going to make me do anything. He just wants to help me out. So it's weird, but it is a mindset when it comes to sales and stuff like that. Because anytime you throw that word free in there, people don't want it. So.
That's great. So there's prospecting for you. Depending on the gym you go to, Lifetime, Crunch, 24, and Equinox, they're fairly similar. They're going to give you anywhere from maybe 15. Maybe they're going to cap you out at 20, 25. Depending on the location, you may be able to pick up other shifts. You're going to get paid minimum wage. As Charlie said last week, don't expect a ton. Your first paycheck will probably be for 2 weeks, maybe 200, 500, 600 bucks, maybe. That would be a lot. So don't expect to make a ton in the beginning. You want to move those floor hours into training sessions. So you meet someone like Frank, who after 15 times that I've talked with him at the gym, he finally succumbs and wants to go in for that complimentary assessment. Then that first one, I'll get an hour to take him through a consultation, and then I'll schedule another one, and then we'll go through the sales pitch next. So I think the next one will go through sales, some common objections you're going to receive, and then we'll have another one in the future about retaining your clients and how to get referrals, and just setting up those expectations where if you really bust your ass the first 90 days in a corporate gym, you can set the precedent for the rest of the year. And you'll have a book of business just like Charlie had at 9 clients. You could probably get a good cushion of 15, 18, and you have a schedule that is going to set you up for financial, but also just long-term success. And then what we'll do is we'll have one last one on how not to burn out. So if you were to get 20, 25 clients and you're doing 40, 50 hours a week and you're not taking any time off, you're not exercising, you're not reading, burnout is something that can poke its little nasty head, and we want you to prevent that. So that's it. We'll get into how to get some sales next, and that's his go-to. And so you guys will learn a lot from that one next. So thank you. Stop recording. I was there. That one. I always screw up on this one. Just